I was having a conversation with someone, and someone said, oh, I love the beginning, and I was like, oh, I love the end. Because the end is when it's finished and it all comes together.
They're never over. People pass away, you pay for perpetual care at the cemetery, but as an architect, you have to give it for life.
All of us are perfectionists, and you just keep thinking like, oh, you keep finding things, and at a certain point, people are like, enough.
It's finished initially, but the relationship is never finished.
Right.
My first ever project was 16 years ago now with Cheryl Teague's. I have redecorated that same house 5 times now through weddings, divorces, children, you name it.
We always remember the things that didn't go as we wish they would have. But at the same time, I mean, I think there's a huge sense of closure when the clients move in and take over.
When they move in, it just kind of begins because it becomes a breathing organism then. And letting go at that point is very difficult too. It's sort of like giving a child up for adoption.
I see them as children. They're always with you. They're always in your memory.
Well, the most sort of wonderful thing for me is to watch the project in a way grow old with the client.
It's amazing. To walk into projects after months or years is just the greatest. It's nostalgic, and
it looks the same but lived in.
I love houses that come together over a period of time. It's like a garden. It's growing. You're constantly changing, adding, collecting.
I have one client that she hasn't moved anything in her house for 10 or 15 years. And I have others that it's changing all the time.
You have to recall the continuum of the relationship, and it starts off with the convincing, and then it turns into, I'm about to buy a waste paper basket, is this okay? You know, and that's well after the project. I mean, they really honor it.
I have a client that I work for, and their house just makes me so happy when I'm in it. And when they want to change things, I resist. You know?
It's hard sometimes when you go back and you're dreading seeing changes. I had a dream about that once, about a project in South Carolina. Indeed, the client never changed a thing, but in my dream, I went in and the whole place was different, and it was, you know, it was like a nightmare for me.
I have been into a couple of my interiors after I've finished them and been slightly horrified by some of the accessories that have been added. But I'm not one to hold back.
I have clients I've done 5 or 6 projects for, and I'll go back once a year and, you know, make sure things are back in order, or try to tell them to put some of the books away or edit a little bit.
The great projects, I guess, are never over. And I think my father used to joke that the bad projects were over when the last bill was paid.
The process is about the next project. And it's very hard to let go, so hopefully you can shift gears, but you're always starting over, proving yourself again. You're only really as good as your next project, not as your last project.
I don't think a project's ever finished.